Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Hey, Dave, welcome back.
Welcome. How are you doing today?
I am great after a thrilling night a couple nights ago. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I just realized I have an incredibly amount of packing to do in the next 24 hours because I have two very busy days of work before I head to the airport on Wednesday. And so I just need to buckle down after we're done here and figure out how to get all my goodies into the suitcase to get to Wrexham. So
that's the key.
the key is, yes. And I have your Rathbone Have My Children sweatshirt that has become quite famous in the last week. I don't know if you noticed how many people on social media were wearing the shirt.
I have.
On their posts. Yeah. So it's an exciting thing to have.
I'm really glad to be part of this club. And I mean that, I guess, in a number of ways. The Wrexham Club, but also the Ollie Rathbone Have My Children Club. I don't want him to actually have my child, but it's such an iconic moment.
But he could have like dibs on being the good uncle to your child, right?
That my brother might have something to say about that.
You can't have too many uncles. You can't have too many
That's
uncles.
true. That's true.
So FA
but
Cup
also,
fourth round. Yeah.
Crazy.
Transition.
I started the evening and I thought, all right, there's figure skating that I really want to watch. You know, we are full into the Olympics and the insanity that is the Winter Olympics. I never really knew about skeleton before, which is luge, but head first. Anyways,
I was watching that last night. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. So.
it really is. But I was trying to decide figure skating or the Wrexham match. I thought, you know what, I'll try to do a little bit of both. And then it turned out to be impossible because I just could not watch the match.
Right. I came into it not sure sort of what our approach would be to this match, right? Because there's the question, it's a cup match, not a league match. It's a team we're going to be playing again in a week. It's a team that when we played them last in November. And that game was, I rewatched the highlights. It was a 99% defensive on our side. Like we were blocked out of any kind of chances of attack or controlling the game. Our entire thing was just us and Arthur stopping them from scoring for 90 minutes, and that's how we got a draw. And so
that's a little bit different from our experience on Friday.
Right. And that's what struck me is that, like, I wish I had kind of watched the recap beforehand just so I could see the clear difference between this because, I mean, I think we both agree we came out on fire and really
sizzling.
Dominated them in a way that I don't think we expected. I mean, I think we hoped it and we knew that it's in us, but them being higher on the table than us and having had a hard match before us and the fact that we play them twice, it's like, would we be more conservative in our approach or would we really go out to make a claim? And I think you would agree that we staked a claim pretty early on in this match.
I will say same. I mean, I was a little bit surprised by that just because not only do we play them again in a week, but we also have a match in between.
Yes.
Right? Like, and not only that, we have then 2 matches of the following week as well. You know, this is like a really busy season. So we didn't really know what's going to happen. Who are we going to see on the pitch and what's the kind of level of push that we're going to see. And it turns out that the level was full on, nonstop, full throttle. It was really incredible to watch.
Yeah. So who stood out for you this week?
Well, I think like a lot of people, one Mr. Ollie Rathbone stood out. This is the Ollie Rathbone that we knew and got to love before his injury.
Right.
Before we started the season, where it was just, you look and he's there and you look and he's there. And I could not, as a Ted Lasso fan, I could not get out of my head during the match the chant that they would sing for Roy Kent. He's here, he's there, he's every feckin' where. And it was so true. He was everywhere. I love in some leagues, I know they do this in the top tier of the Italian football league, called Serie A. They will like show at the end of the match how many kilometers each player has run. And I would so love to see what was that for Ollie Rathbone on Friday night.
And he was only 68 or 69 minutes of the 90 some odd minutes. So he he definitely probably outpaced players who played the entire match, because there were a large number of
I would venture to guess so.
Yeah. It's interesting because before the match, I was listening to one of the podcasts that they kind of predict the lineups, and they had this conversation of what are we going to do for the cup versus the league match? And no one had Ollie Rathbone in the starting lineup. They had him maybe on the bench, but they didn't have him on the starting lineup. And it was like, oh, definitely, it's going to be Sheaf. It's going to be Sheaf. It's going to be Sheaf. And Rathbone just brought that energy and attack, and was fun watching him together with Windass and Longman, and just go attack. I absolutely loved it. I will say that I was surprised that they took him out at 69 minutes, because it's not like he was slowing down or he was tiring. But I think in retrospect that they probably took him out to protect him, because we need him on Tuesday, and probably again on next Saturday, and then Tuesday, and then Saturday. and so the fact that he's still not long back from coming back, he's only been back for about a month or so in the lineup, maybe 2 months. They don't want to overdo him, but they want to take advantage of everything he had to bring. So yeah, I agree with you. He just played amazingly. I think we do have to give a shout out to Ryan Longman as well, because there's a lot of people who feel like he should be in second position for the place that he plays. And he came in, and when he's on the field, he's giving it everything he's got. And there was this one point, I think it was Thomason made what looked like it was a pass to nobody that flew across the field, and Longman grabbed it, he took control of it, and he set it up so that Windass could make that beautiful goal. And it was just a really, really lovely play, and it just showed the control. And Windass, if Rathbone had not been Ollie Rathboning the entire match, Windass would have been my selection for the player of the match, because he also came in with this fire this week.
Yeah.
And it was great to see he got his 9th goal of the season. So, I mean, he's only second in scoring for the team. And, he gets a lot of stick for being sort of a little sullen and not so celebratory guy. This time he had an excuse for not quite celebrating his goal, because he did get macked in the face by Sam Smith on the way in.
Not he got a knuckle to the eye.
But
was he like that before, or is this all just because of his reaction at the QPR match?
No, so I looked back. He's been like this for years. So this is his
thing. Because I've seen him celebrate a goal. I've seen it with my eyes.
You've seen him smile?
Yes.
But I think he had that drilled into him, that you score, you reset, you keep going. Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're early in the match, or if it's at a key moment and you need to keep going, don't waste the time and celebrate. Just kind of
get back to work.
Get back to work. It's interesting because I did see there was a random YouTuber who's not a Wrexham follower who actually got a chance to interview Windass on the field after the match. And unfortunately, the YouTuber did not know who Windass was, and so didn't ask him any kind of specific questions. And so he asked him, say, so you scored in an FA Cup. That must have been an amazing feeling for you. And he's like, well, I've scored in an FA Cup game before. It's fine. And then he's like, well, he's like, how do you rank the FA Cup versus the regular season games? He's like, they're all games. But he wasn't being sarcastic or snarky. He was just like, I think he was saying in his way, his non-refined way, that he treats every game the same. And he's going to give every game the same when he comes out, and he wants to win. That's his thing.
I mean, I think there's definitely something to be said about, look, the way I approach it is, this is a match, right? And it doesn't matter where we are, and it doesn't matter who we're against. I'm here to do the best job that I can do, regardless.
Right.
But I can also understand how that could rub some people the wrong way.
Yes, everyone wants the happy celebration every time, Yes.
Because that's what
I
we're all
was
feeling inside, right? You
we
want that to be
are.
reflected. I
Well, we
understand.
were screaming at home, so we celebrated for him. How about that?
Exactly.
Yes. So I read some feedback after the match that some people said that Ipswich didn't come in and take this seriously from the beginning. So they didn't
I've
put
heard
in their
that.
strongest. They didn't put in their strongest lineup.
I don't know if it's true that they made 10 changes from the previous lineup.
Yeah, that seems like a lot, because they also mentioned that Wrexham made 5 changes, but as we've talked about, our squad depth is so deep at the moment that 5 changes is not the difference between an A lineup and a B lineup. It's
Yeah.
just a variation. Our A lineups have multiple variations, right? But they made a lot of changes. They apparently didn't field their best players, and then they made a lot more substitutions than we did.
Hmm.
And the substitutions that they made just seems like they came too late or didn't help change the momentum on their side. I think we did get tired in the second half, and
I saw that too.
I'm surprised that we didn't make one more round of substitutions. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I know that we're looking at 20 minutes, and we're also looking at Tuesday and Saturday and Tuesday and
Yeah.
Saturday. And so it worked out well. And they really never did get any chances on goal.
Hmm.
And so we were able to get that. I mean, I just had those moments when we're like in that 88th moment, and you're like, no, please don't ruin this vibe that we have.
Yeah.
And luckily
Very nail biting.
we held on. We held on. But we did. So we came out with the victory, and we advanced to the 5th round, which is the first time since 1997 that we've
Wow.
made it that far. And it's funny because in my mind, I think, 1997, that's not that long ago. I remember
Just a couple
1997.
years before 2000, which was just around the corner.
But then you realize that how many of the players on the pitch
Oh,
were
don't say
either
it.
were
Please don't
either
say it.
not born or were the age of your toddler at that time. So this is the first
That's
time in
crazy.
their lifetime that we have made it to
Yeah.
the 5th round. So I think
Yeah.
that deserves some applause, and
Absolutely.
we don't know yet who the next round opponents will be, because that will be drawn on Monday. And
Hmm.
normally we film on Monday, but today's Sunday for us, so we did it a little early this week. So by next time we will know who we are meeting up in the 5th round, which is the first weekend of March. So
Hmm.
yeah.
But okay, I have a question for you that has two parts. What teams, I guess this is the best way to ask it, what teams will play a week from now? I know that we have a match on Tuesday. I know. But I'm going to skip that one just for the moment. Who will we be, and what team will we play the next time that we meet Ipswich Town, which will again be a home match?
Home match. And I'll just point out, surprisingly, given that we've already played them twice now this season, this will only be the 4th time ever playing them.
All right.
And the third at the Racecourse. So
Okay.
I'll answer your question in a second, but we met them in 1995 as part of the FA Cup at Wrexham. They were
Once.
I believe they were in the Premier League at that time, and we beat them. So we giant killed them in 1995. We drew with them at home in November, and then we beat them this week. So this will be our 4th time meeting them, the 3rd time at the Racecourse. So it's a very short history, but a very good history in the big picture of things.
We've got our own big shoes to fill.
We do. I think we're going to. I think we're going to go in with more. We're going to play more for this one. And I
was like, more what? I got it.
And I'm hoping that Broadhead will be back to speed, because he had a hamstring injury that he's kind of been, taking time off for. And I know he's back in training, because those two together, not only those two together are an excellent combo, as we've seen at Wrexham on the Wales national team, but
Yep.
they both played for Ipswich in the season that they were
Oh, I didn't know
promoted
that.
to, in the season they were promoted to the Premier League.
Okay.
And so them to be starting up against their former team and really come out and rock it would just make me very, very happy, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see some big changes otherwise. I think I would like to see Kabori starting instead of coming in halfway through. But we got to see Rathbone again, you know, up against them. We got to see, you know, I think what we did is.
But I gotta say, I'd like him to come in later.
Okay. Just to bring that energy that we need, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And just because of how, look, nobody can say that he did not play phenomenally on Friday. But what he brings late in the match and what he has done this season late in the match is unparalleled.
I would totally agree with you. I totally agree.
So, look, I'd love for him to play 90 minutes, but I think that's probably a little bit too much. So for this particular match, I'd like to see him bring it a little bit later.
Yeah, so I don't see too many other changes beyond that. I mean, I think we put out a very solid team for that. We might see, I mean, depending on the status of, you know, if DKD or if Zach Weiner is recovered by then and back on the field, or Kadamatari, we might see them put in some time. I don't know if we'd see any of them starting yet. But I mean, this is, like we said, we have some really, really important, huge matches coming up. And every single one of them, we need to try to put out the best team we can put out for that opponent.
Yeah. Especially with how close, how packed we are all at these kind of 10-ish spots in the middle of the table.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So what was the second half of your question?
Oh, it was just what team will we bring, and what about their team?
Oh,
what
their
Ipswich Town team will we see? Which you kind of, you know, answered before, that they maybe didn't put out their strongest team.
Right. But essentially, I think they're definitely going to learn that, just like
one would hope,
just like Nottingham Forest learned really quickly, you don't underestimate Wrexham at home on a key match. You know, it's like, we're going to put out everything we can. And like I said, I watched the November highlights and they offensively dominated that entire match. And the only reason we did not lose that match was because Arthur used every ounce of his body to prevent every shot on
every
goal.
inch of his wingspan.
We only had one shot on target against them when we played at their home. And compare that to how many chances we had, how many opportunities we took, how many, you know, the fact that we scored versus them not I don't even know if they had a single shot on target on Saturday or on Friday. If not one, they had a very few. And so we really adapted to what we saw in November. And so I think that they're going to have to adapt as well. But I think we're going to be hopefully one step ahead of them. And we have some surprises that we can throw at them. So
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Hope so too. Yes. There's an interesting point. I'll just mention it briefly. So if I can get my notes mouse to work. I noticed a huge difference. So we would agree, I think you and I would agree, that we played really, really well on Friday. And the previous Saturday, we played incredibly well against Millwall. Even though we lost, we played incredibly well.
Yep.
The social media, message board, online reactions to the two matches could not have been night and day. Okay. The match that we thought, well, the match that we played better at and lost, everyone was terrible. Everyone was horrible. Everyone was mediocre. The match that we played well at and won, everyone was perfect. There was nothing negative to say about anybody. And so is it just the wins that matter?
Look, I mean, yes and no, because of course it's not just that, but I mean, it's not just, there's so much more. It's not just a match, right? It's not just a match. It's a whole culture. It's a
Right.
whole, you know, part of people's lives. And so when you lose, like, it doesn't feel great. Yes, there were like great things that we had in the Millwall match and we played very well. It's not always easy to separate that from a loss
Okay. So so
because
we-
it's a
so
loss.
so we're just the half glass full people who
We
are
are.
looking for what we can build on, and knowing that we still have a third of the season to go, and if we can just keep on that momentum, we're in good shape. I'll look at it that way.
I think I'm probably also like generally speaking more of a pessimist, but the way that I'm coming at it is where were we 5 years ago?
Mhm.
Right? We
Oh
talked the
gosh,
last
yeah,
time that
yeah,
that we filmed was the 5-year anniversary of when Rob and Ryan purchased the team. And we were 7th in the National League at that
right,
point, you
right,
know, and the trajectory that we've been on, you know, to be at what are we now? 8th because a couple teams have passed
yeah,
us because they have one more match than we've played now. Um, but to be 6th or 8th or 18th,
right,
to be here, to be in the championship, like that's a phenomenal thing. And
right.
it's maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. It's okay if we don't get promoted this season. It's okay
Mm,
if we're not in the playoffs. That would be phenomenal. That would be
right.
thrilling. That would be incredible. But we're here, and that already is really huge.
Yes, it's incredible already, and it's just the building blocks for what's to come. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So so a few before we leave the match on Friday completely.
Yeah.
So I was able to watch the first half. I watched on ESPN in US, which I think used the the TNT broadcast, right? And then, or I don't know if they sent their own team.
Okay.
And then at the halftime, I just switched over my VPN to BBC Wales. And so I
Okay.
watched the halftime commentary, and then I watched the second half of the BBC commentators. And I was
Which
very
includes,
happy to see
if I
Ben.
recall,
Yeah. So Ben Tozer was the on-field sort of pre-match, halftime, and post-match commentator. There was a team of them, and so they had one from Ipswich, they had one from Wrexham, and then they had the
okay.
BBC person. And I just loved the fact that Tozer's one. He's a lot of fun on camera. He knows what he's talking about. He's really, he prepped himself for his retirement well, and getting ready to be a commentator. And they turned to him and they said, "Where were you during the goal?" And he said, "I was in the toilet." He said, "But I watched it on replay." And not only did I love that about him because it was just completely honest and straightforward, but it reminded me that when I went to Wembley to watch the League One finals, Charlton versus Leyton Orient, the only time I left my seat in that incredibly long, exciting match was for a quick jaunt to the bathroom, during which the only goal that happened the entire match was scored. And so I thought, I'm in good company now.
You are. You definitely are.
Yes. But it was the other thing that was really exciting for me to see, I think for you as well, is that Ollie Palmer made his first return back to the racecourse. Apparently his team was playing in Shrewsbury the next day, so he was local,
Hmm.
so he was able to come in. But he did an extensive pre-match interview on Matchday Live,
Yeah.
where he talked about coming back and his view on the team, and it was just so wonderful to watch the positivity and the
Hmm.
good feelings that one he has for the club, but that the club still have for him,
Yeah.
and sort of that understanding. They asked him at one point. They said, "So how do you feel about where they are today?" He said, "Well, he's like, it's wonderful. It's exactly what they wanted. I was just hoping they would have had one more year in League One, because then I could have played longer."
Yeah.
And so it was just that complete understanding that he knew when the change
Yeah.
came that it needed to come. But he also pointed out that the fact that he had his sort of his swan song in the whole match, in
Hmm.
the early cup match, he got his sort of his little hurrah on the way out, but that
Yeah.
he gets to still be involved in the team. And even when he's no longer playing, that there's always going to be a role for him, which I love, because he's been like many, he's one of the key people who, since the takeover, has been the face of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was my thoughts on this week. So just before we talk briefly about what's coming next, just some really brief injury updates. So last week we talked about Matty James came down, and so it turns out he looks like he has fractured his foot. And so they're just waiting for the swelling to come down to determine the sort of the severity of the fracture and how long it will take him to recover, which is just so unfortunate, because I think everyone would agree that up to that point when he hurt himself, clearly a candidate for the most important player of the season.
He's had such a great season. Yeah.
He played every single match all season long and just showed up and was just a key player every single time. So I'm hoping he recovers very quickly and that he's back on the field, because he's got a lot of people rooting for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then Nathan Broadhead, as I mentioned, his hamstring injury, he's almost recovered. It was a minor one. And then Libby Kakachi he strained his hamstring during that same match where Matty James hurt himself. So it's kind of keeping an eye on him, and especially with this packed season we have coming up ahead in the next month or two. Hopefully he gets back as quickly as possible. So
yeah.
Fingers crossed. So what do we have? So why don't you take us through the busy next couple of weeks here?
Yeah. So Tuesday we play against Bristol City. We are in Bristol. With the changes of the matches this weekend, we are 8th. They are
ninth.
They're 9th. They're just 1 point behind us. We beat them 2-0 in November. Unlike, the last couple weeks we've talked about, okay, QPR, we played them, I think it was like August or September. We were a very different team, right? November was not that long ago. That's when we were already kind of clicking. So let's hope we can kind of bring that magic back.
Yes.
And then Saturday is the big day. It's the rematch against Ipswich City at home, where we will be front and not really center, but off to the side.
Front and corner.
Front and corner.
But the energy we bring will be that extra bonus they need to bring it home, right?
That's true. That's very true. I can't wait.
Yes. Well, and then we will catch up with everybody after the Ipswich match. And then I'm staying on for the Portsmouth match, and then heading to London to see the Charlton match. So this is my exciting 3 matches in a week, where I'll be exhausted afterwards, but very excited. So
yeah, big times ahead. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word, that's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the cop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.